so high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.
All right, we are ready to go.
All right, everybody, welcome to another FPVFC town hall. And with us tonight, we got Dave, Dan, and myself. Got some stuff we'll cover, including some drones that got downed. We've got some enforcement actions against some drone pilots. And Skydio's got a new drone, the R10, for a measly $6,000, I think. So, that's cool. So we'll go ahead and get started here with, let me share my screen, a new proposal from the Department of Transportation. So they are establishing, it's a notice for the establishment of the Electronic Vertical Takeoff and Landing and Advanced Air Mobility Integration Pilot Program. Say that 6 times fast, right? And it's also a request for proposals. So in true FAA fashion, they're looking for other companies to really fulfill this mission for them. So we'll kind of get started here. So the Department of Transportation, through the Federal Aviation Administration, announces a new eVTOL and AAM integration pilot program that will accelerate the deployment of safe and lawful eVTOL and other AAM aircraft operations in the United States. The EIPP, which stands for Integration Pilot Program, requests that state, local, tribal, and territorial governments, in partnership with private sector partners with demonstrated experience in eVTOL or other AAM development, manufacturing, and operations, or new supporting technologies enabling AAM operation integration into the national airspace, submit proposals. The EIPP continues the Department of Transportation's effort to integrate eVTOL and other AAM aircraft developed or offered by a United States-based entity into the national airspace systems by identifying the most effective partnerships to test and validate operational concepts that can be scaled to national and international applications. State, local, tribal, and territorial governments and their private sector partners will propose and define these operational concepts under the safety oversight role of the FAA. So if you're interested, if you're a company that's interested, state, local, tribal, or territorial governments must submit a proposal to participate in the pilot program in accordance with the SIR posted to the sam.gov no later than 3 p.m. on December 11th, 2025. So we'll go into a little bit of the background, and I'll kind of hit the long and short of it. Executive Order 14307, Unleashing American Drone Dominance, dated June 6, 2025. The President declared that it is the policy of the United States to accelerate the safe commercialization of UAS technologies and fully integrate UAS into the national airspace, as well as eVTOL and other AAM, advanced air mobility aircraft operations. The President directed the Secretary of Transportation, acting through the Administrator of the FAA, and in coordination with the Director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy, to establish an integration pilot program under which state, local, tribal, and territorial governments can partner with private sector organizations with demonstrated experience in eVTOL or other AAM development, manufacturing operations, or new supporting technologies enabling that. So focus of this pilot program will be achieving ambitious national objectives in core areas that are in the public interest. Operations that are envisioned include piloted and unmanned approaches to air taxis, short range on demand flying eVTOLs connecting to ground transport, demonstrating reduced noise impacts. That'll be an interesting one. Just specifically the noise impact. If you haven't heard an Amazon drone lately, um, I think at this point they now terrify my wife, so that's fun. Longer range fixed wing flights, moving people in new forms of advanced regional aircraft with capabilities such as short takeoff and landing that could unlock new and more economically viable possibilities in air travel. Okay. Last thing I checked, air travel was not economically viable, but hey, there's that. Cargo, using novel aircraft, including potentially fixed wing aircraft to provide cargo services. I mean, that's cool. We got a new, we covered it last town hall. We got a new, um, what was it? It was, what do you call it? It was a new UAS.
Was it
Coaxial, thank
coaxial?
you. That's the word I was looking for. It can lift like 10 pounds. So that's cool compared to DJI's heavy lift, which does like 60 something pounds. So, I mean, I'd like to see some improvement on that at least. Demonstrating new airlift and emergency management services such as the eVTOL operations for servicing offshore energy facilities and improving medical transport capabilities with lower costs and impact on local communities. Okay. Increasing automation safety, demonstrating safe integration of aircraft with a range of automation technologies designed to enhance safety and/or efficiency in AAM operations. While individual projects will likely focus on select national objectives, the DOT and FAA envision that each project would demonstrate broad public benefits such as safety enhancements, quality of life enhancements, workforce development opportunities, adding net new and high paying jobs to the U.S. economy. That would be fantastic. And it would also provide advanced cooperative flow and traffic management with a range of aircraft, including UAS, advanced manufacturing in the United States, supply chain security and independence, and cooperation across agencies of the federal, state, tribal, territorial, and local governments, including, for example, security coordination with TSA as needed. Oh, we got to keep the TSA employed. That's for sure. Let's see. So realistically, what their selected offers will be expected to demonstrate advances in technological capabilities as well as operational concepts while ensuring safety through appropriate mitigations. The Department of Transportation and the FAA intend to expedite the evaluation and approval of eVTOL and other AAM operations beyond those currently permitted today. Activities under the pilot program will accelerate the safe and efficient integration of eVTOL and other advanced air mobility operations within the national airspace, generate data to inform the FAA's development of guidance and regulations, foster and leverage public-private partnerships, and provide opportunities to accelerate commercial use operations. So they're going to be evaluating the proposals. They're going to select a minimum of 5 participants, and then they have to, it'll go on, the pilot program will go on for 3 years after the date the first pilot program becomes operational. So, yeah. I mean, it's a lot here. I mean, I'm all for some of this stuff, I guess. I mean, realistically, better cargo, longer range fixed wing flights. I still don't see a huge advantage to air taxis. I mean, the only thing that I would say is like, let's replace maybe some helicopters that guzzle fuel with electric. Like, but I mean, realistically, the battery power needed for that is obscene. So, I mean, what are we net gaining there? I mean, realistically, I mean, battery chemicals versus gas. I mean, choose your side, I guess. But I'm all for more jobs within UAS industries. Like, I think that's a significant advantage. Thoughts here, guys?
Yeah, so this is I agree that the content is important, and it was clever that the FAA pulled this together. But I think about that ad. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. So this is in response effectively to an executive order. The FAA is supposed to respond to mandates from Congress. So we noted that there's no funding in this. So this is, as Josh was describing, once again, the FAA is asking industry to take on important tasks, and without funding or guidance or direction or specifications, just hey, we want you guys to get this together, pay for it, put people into it, and largely this is a real challenge for individual companies to risk their own intellectual property and teaming together. It happens. I've been involved in projects like this, cross company industry leaders working together, but it's hard, um, and it doesn't always work out. So here we are yet again. This is also a reminder that we try any federal registry documents that come out with drone or UAS in them. We read them, and those where there are a request for comments for mere mortals, we do add comments to those. In addition to big documents like the Beyond Visual Line of Sight Notice for Public Rulemaking, we've commented on 2 or 3 prior requests for comments this year. Other than that, not a lot.
Yeah, the fun note here is obviously each participant will bear its own cost. So succeed or fail on your own. No no skin off the FAA's back here, really. But you are required to share operational data, and not only with the government but with the public as well, with concern for any confidential proprietary. But like realistically, guys, like I don't know that I'd be jumping on board with that, but that's just me. If I owned a company that was pushing some advanced air mobility, like if I wanted to create a cargo drone, like I don't know that I'd be applying for this. Like,
Right.
So just my thought.
Yeah,
So
I just don't
yeah.
see the air mobility stuff going anywhere anytime soon. But I don't know. I'm not the target market for it. I ride my bike more than I drive a car, let alone fly in an airplane or a drone or a helicopter somewhere. So,
We don't
Right.
see this part of the business taking off.
right.
No, I mean
Sorry.
it might be fine for I mean I see like realistically like air taxis for the wealthy, like, but for the common man, like nah. Like cool, you've got a drone pad now at your house that takes you to work. Good on you. Like
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
chances that I'm
Airbus
ever gonna fly in one,
Air,
Yeah.
Airbus had a program. I mean, they had they built an aircraft for this target market. They scrubbed the whole market. I mean, their whole project.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Josh, you basically just did the same thing that Meat did in YouTube chat, saying that it really comes off as play toys for the rich, and it seems odd that the FAA is devoting so many resources to it.
yeah.
Well, and, I think one of the developers of one of those like private, one passenger uh, um, air taxi. It's not really an air taxi. It's more like a sport equivalent to a uh, like a passenger drone. Got delivered to some wealthy person. That was cool. So good on him. I hope he has fun with that. Watch those propellers. They look big and scary. Make sure you take them off before you service it. All right. So next up, let me scroll back up because apparently I got caught reading here. Drone shot in Maine during search for missing dogs prompts a federal investigation. So it's about time. Like I feel like this has happened a lot, and the FAA's kind of just shrugged shoulders. But commercial drone operated by 2A TAC Air Services was shot out of the sky in Corinth, Maine on Tuesday, September 9th, while assisting in a search for 2 missing beagles. Those poor beagles. Um, drone's operator, Rob Russell, says the incident caused thousands of dollars in damage and threatens his ability to continue search and rescue work across New England. Russell reported that the drone was flying at 366 feet when he received a warning and brought it down. Upon inspection, he discovered a bullet hole through the aircraft's front sensors. Had it hit the camera, that's an additional 5,000, and at that point they can't fix it. Russell explained. The aircraft, part of his 3-drone fleet valued at more than $20,000, is now out of service. Russell emphasized that the loss directly impacts his work, supporting families searching for missing loved ones and pets in Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Authorities have opened an investigation into the incident. Russell underscores the legal stakes, noting that it both violates Maine statutes and it's also a federal offense. Shooting a commercial drone, or any drone, is the same charge as shooting at a plane full of people. Drone operators and aviation attorneys have long warned that firing at an aircraft, whether crewed or uncrewed, carries serious criminal consequences. Beyond safety risks to people on the ground, disabling a drone mid-flight can lead to uncontrolled crashes.
Well, it should result in serious consequences, but so far,
Yeah. I mean, doesn't feel like it happens. Russell said it's rare for drones to be shot at, but the consequences are severe. Repairs and downtime could cost thousands of dollars. I can't use it. It's going to be out of my use for a long time, and that affects what I do. While Russell keeps 3 drones available to offset equipment failures, the financial burden is significant. Even down to 2 doesn't put my mind at ease. His company has invested heavily on equipment to maintain operations, often providing supplemental support to law enforcement during searches. The incident highlights ongoing challenges for drone pilots operating in public airspace, especially those engaged in critical missions like search and rescue. As drones become more widely used in emergency response or any kind of use, interference and hostility from the public remain a concern. So, I hope this results in something. Realistically, I mean, we fought for privacy on these things for a long time, and I'm not saying somebody, pulled his remote ID and tracked where he was, but I mean, it's possible. It's all public information right now. So, but yeah, I mean, this is goofy. I don't understand why people would, poor guy, poor beagles. I'm upset for the dogs. Hopefully they found the dogs.
yeah,
Nobody said.
the article didn't say if it was successful or not.
I know, right? So
Yeah, this brings to light the, well, if a drone flies over my house, I'm going to shoot it down. How many times have I heard that in my
Right.
own county here in upstate New York?
Right.
And I remind people that, there are drones delivering blood these days. There are drones looking for people who are lost. There are drones looking for animals who are lost. So, think.
there are drones. There are drones that are inspecting that bridge you drive across on a daily basis to make sure it's safe. So hey, there's that too.
Don't be that, as Greg Revendu would say so well. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of enforcement actions, in the grand total of the years 2012 through 2020, so 8 years, there were 70 FAA enforcement actions against drone pilots. So, this comes from Ruprecht Law. If you've been in the drone community for a while, this name would be familiar to you. But have you ever wondered what the FAA has done in going after bad drone flyers? Have they fined remote pilots? Have they taken away their pilot certificates? All these questions and many more will be answered in this article. We dive into 70 enforcement actions from 2012 to 2020. The enforcement actions range from all sorts of things, from flying near Washington, D.C., to drone colliding midair and causing property damage to hotel property. So they didn't want to drag people's names to the mud, so they scrubbed it of all that. And realistically, I want to skip to a couple of the graphs here because those are probably the more interesting of this. So of those 70 that they're reviewing here, 57 were male, 11% were redacted, and the other 2 were female. So, I mean, that's pretty standard for the percentage of male to female pilots. I would imagine within drones. Something that we'd love to see change. We'd love to see more women flying drones. It's a great experience.
It's about the
Um,
same ratio in commercial airlines as well. Three women to 97 male.
yeah. So we've got some dollar amounts here. So you can see a couple. Most of them stay fairly low, below the 10,000. A couple spike. And you got this poor person in 2016 that got fined like $55,000. I'm gonna guess, and then another person for 40,000. And then the biggest was a Skypan case of $1.9 million.
So can you find the is it the Philadelphia guy in that graph?
Yeah, I think the Philadelphia Flyer cases
Oh,
were
it's
the
right there.
outliers. It says right here. So I don't know. Do you remember what he was
Oh, that
fined? He
took
might be at
those out.
55,000. Oh, he took them out.
$182,000.
Yeah, that paragraph says they were removed from the graph, and here are the others.
Okay, gotcha. All right, 1.9 million for the one. We've got 182. There's that one, 182,000, and then mostly down below. Those are the top 10 fines. And then number of violations charged. So, and there's an interesting thing that they note down here, and I'll cover that here in a second. But looks like multiple charges, multiple violations in a lot of cases, in a significant amount of cases here. So. We've got 2 cases resulted in certificate revocation. And then 2 cases in a certificate suspension, 170 day and one 120 day. And then 1 case resulted in a certificate revocation and a $3,000 civil penalty. Most of them have just been fines. And there have been several instances where the FAA imposed a civil penalty against a company. So 4 business entities, 55 persons, and then 11 we don't know. The Northeast is the most enforcement heavy division, with the Great Lakes team being the least, or maybe people in your area, the town, or your area, the country, Dan, are a little more sensible, I guess.
Yeah, you
maybe.
can't tell is either the people in the Northeast violating the rules more, or are the enforcers more enforcing
right.
in that area?
So, and then here's the most frequently violated regulations. You don't have a remote pilot certificate. That's number 1. So, careless or reckless is number 2. And acting as a remote pilot in command without a certificate, we got careless or reckless under 9113. Drones not registered. We've got that's number 5. Your aeronautical knowledge is not current is number 6. Failed to pre-flight, posed undue hazards. Remote pilot failed to ensure compliance with regulations and operated in airspace without authorization. Wrap up 7 through 10 there. So the one I want to look at is the Part 107.23. This is careless or reckless. And that is defined as no person may operate a small unmanned aircraft in a system or aircraft system in a careless or reckless manner so as to endanger the life or property of another. And here's the fun one. Frequently, FAA prosecutors will add a 107.23 violation to an enforcement case because it's broad regulation and the definitions of careless or reckless are solely up to the prosecutor. To me, this is BS. And realistically, it's just stacking charges, because they're just like, oh, well, the prosecutor can define that. No, somebody needs to actually physically define this. This is the problem I have with careless or reckless. I think this is a problem we all have with careless or reckless.
Yeah, you could easily say if they violated any other rule, they're also being careless because they're breaking rules.
Right.
So now they've broken 2 rules.
It's stupid.
Right. And the moment you operate, so if you say I'm flying under recreational rules 44809, and then you fly there. We've also got a provision to not fly recklessly there.
Careless or reckless, yeah.
So once you violate that, then you've violated 44809, and you have to present, well, then if you're failing to fly under 44, you must be flying under Part 107,
Oh, but you don't have a certificate.
other
And
infraction. Click, 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 click. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there are two, and so is it frequent that people will be stopped by a representative of the FAA for drone enforcement? No, but is it? Do we hear about and read about enforcement stacking, just as Josh was describing? Yes, we do. The other thing is that it's more frequent that a local law enforcement will stop you, and as I've described before, don't be a jerk. We've had incidents, particularly in upstate New York, where a young guy was flying around the lake. He was pulled over by a state trooper, told to land the drone, and this fella got indignant. So he was written up by a state trooper and completely legit. And so he was written up for a couple of felonies. And so you just don't be a jerk. And it probably could have been de-escalated, but he chose to to argue with a state trooper. Never a good plan.
And oftentimes, local law enforcement will partner, if need be, will partner with, I forget the name of the team, but there's a LEAP, Law Enforcement Assistance Program through the FAA, and that's where a lot of these charges will come from. Notwithstanding that a lot of states and local governments have their own rules on drones and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting. They kind of go through the different charges here, or different regulations that are mostly violated. So the FAA is most active in pursuing enforcement actions against remote pilot when the violations involve breaching airspace without proper authorization, flying directly over people, and loss of control incidents.
Right. So when we talk about safety, and the keys that we bring out in our safety guidelines are propeller safety, battery safety, and airspace authorization. So while that sounds like apples, oranges, and hand grenades, it is important to learn about airspace authorization. We've got LANCE. It's quick and easy if you're flying in controlled airspace, and pretty simple. And on our homepage of our website is what you need to fly legally under recreational regs.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's a thing. So there's enforcement happening against drone pilots. My question is where's the enforcement against people who maybe interfere with flights? That's the question I would love to have an answer to. So Jonathan,
Part 108.
What's that?
So that's our part of 108 we like.
All right. Yeah. So we'll have to see how that goes. That'll definitely be some change. So Jonathan, let's have some stats on that, brother. I'd love to read that. That'd be a great article. All right. I think y'all remember this. This was a sad moment in our drone history here. So drone pilot sentenced for crashing UAV into firefighting aircraft in California. So this happened during I think it's called the Palisades fires in California. Culver City man has been sentenced for flying a drone that collided with a firefighting aircraft battling the Palisades fire in Los Angeles, causing significant damage and temporarily grounding the critical water-dropping plane. Peter Tripp Aikman, 57, a computer game developer, pleaded guilty in February to a federal Class A misdemeanor for unsafe operation of an unmanned aircraft. The incident occurred on January 9th, 2025, when Aikman's drone struck a Quebec government Super Scooper firefighting aircraft, forcing it out of service and delaying wildfire suppression efforts. Court filings show that Aikman launched his drone from the top floor of a Santa Monica parking structure and flew it more than 1.5 miles towards the fire. The drone struck the Super Scooper carrying 2 crew members and caused a 3-inch by 6-inch hole in the wing. Aircraft was pulled from service for repairs, costing at least $65,000, according to federal prosecutors. Federal Aviation Administration had issued temporary flight restrictions over Los Angeles County wildfire zones at this time, banning drone operations. Violating these restrictions placed firefighting personnel and residents at further risk. As part of his plea agreement in Los Angeles federal court, Aikman must pay full restitution to the Quebec government, which supplied the plane and the aircraft repair company. He was also ordered to complete 150 hours of community service supporting the 2025 Southern California wildfire relief effort. In a letter to the court, Aikman apologized to the Super Scooper crew and the Los Angeles residents, describing his actions as stupid and reckless. He admitted flying the drone partly out of curiosity to observe fire damage and a concern for a friend's home near the burn area. He lost control of the drone after signal loss and later learned from the news that a collision had occurred. Oh, that sucks. Oh, jeez. U.S. Attorney's Office called the incident a stark reminder that flying drones during times of emergency poses an extreme threat to personnel trying to help people. FBI Los Angeles Assistant Director Akil Davis added, lack of common sense and ignorance of your duty as a drone pilot will not shield you from criminal charges. Please respect the law, respect the FAA's rules, and respect our firefighters. Again, an example of don't be that dude. All right, don't be that guy.
Interesting that they cited that as criminal charges because, of course, these are civil regulations.
Well,
So
I think the criminal is the property damage.
Yeah,
to
that
the
have
plane,
to
right?
that have to add it up to property damage or reckless endangerment, which is that's what they use in New York a bunch.
So the FAA violations, like the Part 107 leave enforcement, is all civil, but a lot of times with things like that, there's actual federal laws, like criminal federal laws,
Yep.
that federal counterparts will adopt, like air marshals or, things like that.
Yep, makes sense.
So, guys, unless you're specifically operating with a permission, I would say with the permission of officials, don't be putting your drones up in the air during events like this, like fires and tornadoes. And I mean, I'd love to see the guy that flies into a tornado, but at the same time, don't do that. And
there are some really good videos from the past year or so of flying drones into tornadoes.
Oh, I need to watch those. But
as we've suggested in the past, if you want to help public safety, be it law enforcement, fire, whomever, search and rescue, contact them way outside of an emergency, outside of a crisis. Offer to do training if you're a good pilot. Offer to participate, and you'll need your Part 107. So it's a good thing to do to get involved, and it's tremendously exciting. But do it in a calmer time, and then you're both prepared during a crisis that and you're working with and communicating with the folks so that you've got the appropriate authorization.
Yeah, for sure. All right. In case you were in the market for a new Skydio drone, sucks for you. You can't buy them. But in case you were, let's look at it. So Adam Bray says the future is here and it's just not evenly distributed. Skydio CEO tells people before going on to introduce a number of companies using Skydio tech, which he suggests will be the future. Bray did say that one bit of bad news is that the company isn't able to keep up with demand for the X10 drone before going to say that it isn't the only class of drone that matters, before turning to the idea of an FPV drone and showing pictures of a hacked DJI Avata drones and others. The R10 FPV style drone is designed to serve for police officers aiming to fly into buildings, perhaps to negotiate with criminals, so features speakers and a mic. It will sell for $5,995. Hey, that's $5 off $6,000, so you get a little bit of savings there. And features turtle mode. Oh my gosh. So it flips itself over if it falls the wrong way up, and enough power that if it gets indoors and lands can support up to 3 hours of negotiations, relaying video. So, I mean, this is just a sad, just so sad. The most impressive thing in the presentation, though, was that it was struck by a baseball bat and could still fly. I thought for a moment. Sadly, though, this was just a promo for the replacement insurance scheme. So there's that. Bray told the assembled crowd that we've always thought of these things were aerospace devices as an explanation of why the company has always built its products in the USA. Bray uses the rest of the keynote to tell Skydio users that the company intends to be very open about reliability issues that it has addressed over the years before the annual Ascend events, and highlighted issues with the design of the remote controller and another with grinding on drone motors. Grinding bad. A red light of death had apparently caused the number of mission failures. I don't know what that's referencing, but so looks like they're improving the remote a little bit, some improved shielding, new battery circuit, and some software improvements. Company went on to announce its flight incident rate will now be public. Bray called them crashes on stage, but suggested it was a term that wouldn't be used again. And we'll share where the issues are human factors or technical, and the reliability dashboard will be public. Bets that they'll just label everything human factor. Let's see. Bray also took the chance to highlight that a parachute was an option on the X10 to further reduce. Hopefully, that's further enhance safety, not reduce safety. Which he compared against the risk factor of a DJI drone without a parachute falling on someone. Yes, the presentation was not shy of sneaking in the odd reference of to Chinese competition. Interesting. He also suggested the data. He also suggested data dock launch flights are 3 times safer than controller launch flights. Well, I mean, let's maybe enhance that. I mean, anywho, yeah, Skydio's got a new drone.
Yeah, advertising your robust nature. That's a tough and tall order. When I was in the mainframe organization, we knew we had a spec that could beat the competition, and so we invented 5 nines or 6 sigma. These are quality measurements, and so that meant that we guaranteed to our customers that we would have no more than 10 minutes of downtime in a year. And so that's pretty good. And I can attest that a couple of mainframes of my own customers were running continuously for 4 and 5 years. So they had 0 downtime. So we knew we could beat that number, but it's so expensive, and it's so difficult to be able to stand behind a guarantee on robust, surface level agreement, whatever it is. It's hard. So must be to combat a significant sentiment that the public has about Skydio. That's the only reason I can imagine that they would take such a bold move like this, because it's going to be expensive.
Well, and it's already cost prohibitive. I mean, it's goofy. Number one, they only sell to commercial entities. I mean, how are people supposed to get the flight time on their stuff to be proficient enough where it's not a human factor? And number two, like, it's just priced out of ridiculousess. I get U.S. manufactured. U.S. manufactured always is going to be more expensive, but I mean, a factor of 5, a little more than 5, maybe 5.5 over Nevada. It just doesn't make sense to me. So, anywho, so Skydio, yeah. I had hopes for them a long time ago. All right.
There are a bunch of really, really smart engineers work at that firm. So there's still they can do it. They can still create a very viable product, but it won't be easy.
Yeah. So,
hey, did they say anything about the fixed wing that's being discussed? I think it was part of the Ascend conference today as well.
No, not in this article. Oh, wait, hold on. I think actually at the end it does. Let's see.
It was pretty cool. It was mounted on a Tesla.
No, they got, let's see, we got other new features include an option of an RTK attachment, software to correct the camera's rolling shutter. Well, gee, I hope that's fixed. But the one that got the round of applause was a dropper. an attachment that can drop small items from the drone. Well, that's not nefarious. After the specifics, the presentation turned to present software that allows an operator to control 4 drones at once, FAA approved. So that's the only thing it mentions. It doesn't mention anything fixed wing.
So for product placement, they put it on a Tesla?
Yeah, I saw something about a fixed wing. I think they called it an F10. It was pretty neat. It was like a robotic arm that would capture it as it was coming in, like a VTOL.
Yeah.
And it was captured, put it on a charger.
That's fancy.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I mean, it'd be nice to be able to get a hold of that tech as an individual. All right, Dave, I'm going to hand this over to you, and we'll cover the NPRM.
Okay, the first up was the Pilot Institute document. So if you, no need to play this, I just want to bring this up and so that you can see, and please take a look at this video. And there's a document associated with it. And the Pilot Institute folks, Greg and Jason, have created links, and they've also created ChatGPT prompts that will help you create your own unique set of comments that are captured with some of the highlights of this document. So we've spent numerous hours with this group, the Drone Advisory Council, plus Aloft, plus DSPA, and Influential Drones and FPVFC and Pilot Institute are the DAC. So we added a couple more folks, including Flight Test, and we were heavily involved in this. I wrote the recreational section, and I also wrote the Part 146 section. So other than that, it's a superb piece of work by Pilot Institute. The point of this whole document is this offers an alternative to Part 108. That is, in the interim. So I've said, I don't think the totality of Part 108 and Part 146 are going to be in place until at least 10 years from now. I'd love to be proven wrong. This proposal says, why not just add some testing to Part 107 and get some limited beyond visual line of sight for Part 107 pilots? That's the majority of this document. It does it in a very sensible and methodical way. This could be a 2026 solution. The other thing that's nice about this document is we've laid out what would be required and what's already in existence. So whenever possible, we try to offer solutions to the FAA that are a small amount of work for them in order to enable a new capability. We're not being wise guys. This is an effort to try to get this done. And so if it's a shorter and a lesser piece of work and it's sensible, we hope that this will be taken seriously. In addition, we are asking companies who are in the industry to sign on that they support this document. So I've got a list of folks I'll be reaching out to, so do the other authors. And so if you're interested in this, if you want to comment, and we do ask that you do comment on the Beyond Visual Line of Sight Notice for Public Rulemaking, this is a great alternative. And it's if you want to use this as part of your comments, great. And it's a good piece of work.
So
next up,
if I understand this right, this would actually be great for even recreational, for FPV pilots who have Part 107s to fly beyond visual line of sight, just fly by yourself with your goggles on in a limited area.
Right. Yes. And with the recreational section that we've included in here, stipulates that we know that there would have to be a change to 44809, which would mean a mandate from Congress. So the probability of that happening, very low. But we have, we've articulated a path that this could, we could provide this a similar capability for recreational operators, just rather easily. But yeah, so for Part 107, this is a way to get some of the BVLOS capabilities that are described in 108 and get them in the national airspace in a legit manner right away, like 2026. Next up is the FPVFC. So we, thanks to Jason of Pilot Institute, we found the advisory circular that was referenced in the NPRM. I just speak in abbreviations and acronyms. And so it's Advisory Circular 146-1, which goes along with Part 146, which is all about unmanned traffic management. In the section in the BVLOS NPRM, it goes into some level of detail, and I had been complaining about this, that the requirements for strategic deconfliction and conformance monitoring will be in the advisory circular. And I said red card, because that obfuscates the rule-making process. So we found the advisory circular, and it's a quick 48-page read. And interestingly, it pretty much only references the ASTM Unmanned Traffic Management Standard F3548-21. So, which is briefly mentioned in the BVLOS NPRM. So this is frustrating, because the FAA has written a document. They release it on August 5. 2 days later, they stuff an advisory circular draft 146-1 into the docket, and no place else, no links. And so it took us a while to find it. And in that document, it then points back to an ASTM standard. There's a real issue here, which is, so I've articulated on our own website what are the simple IT issues that we articulate that say this won't work the way the FAA has written it. Separate from that, what the ASTM UTM Unmanned Traffic Management document describes deconflicting UAV to UAV. It makes no mention of how do you deconflict a drone from a manned aircraft. To me, that's rather important. It's not discussed. So by implication, we have said that this whole document is written explicitly for large companies that are interested in drone delivery, package delivery work. So the package delivery organization, and this was discussed during or organizations plural, this was discussed at the Beyond Visual Line of Sight Aviation Rulemaking Committee work that timed out in 2022, that if you do things like create a highway in the sky, where that's where we want to fly drones, and that's fine. That makes those of us in recreation, in Part 107, in inspection, it just goes on and on and on, where that doesn't make sense. That's not viable. Well, that's what this NPRM is setting up, and it does it implicitly, unfortunately. So if you're only talking about deconfliction, UAV to UAV, and all of the referenced examples that the FAA is talking about in these key site locations are in corridors that they talk about that are sanctioned only for UAS flight, then that means that they're what they're implicitly describing is highways in the sky. So we're a little disappointed in the FAA on a number of levels. We do ask that you comment on the document. We have updated our comments only in the section Part 146 because it took us quite a bit of time to unravel the variety of the two appendices that are referenced in Part 146, which talk about strategic deconfliction and conformance monitoring. Turns out they're inside the advisory circular. We still have an issue that effectively rules are being communicated or promulgated to the public without the opportunity of public comment. That's that's just in the Part 146. So not a happy story, not an NPRM that we like. However, I'm really proud to be associated with the Pilot Institute work. I think that offers a fantastic alternative to 108 and 146. And look at what Transport Canada is doing with Beyond Visual Line of Sight. They got something going and got it in the air, if you'll forgive the expression, very quickly, and they know they have more work to do. The FAA, unfortunately, has taken the approach that we're going to ground everything until this is all in place. I'm suggesting that getting this all in place is going to take at least 10 years. This is not viable. And so we're offering an alternative that they can extend Part 107 and not shut down all of the Part 107 Beyond Visual Line of Sight waivers on the day that Part 108 is released to the public. So good pieces of work, please. And also on our fpvfc.org website, we've got instructions on how you can comment, and also up on the Pilot Institute links from that video. There are instructions on how to comment. So again, please be professional, be polite, be constructive. And if there is something that you like in this NPRM, highlight it. I'm sure the FAA would like to hear about it. You can read through our 16 pages of content. There's nothing that I would say that, gosh, this is great. And so we are critical throughout the NPRM.
All right, so I just want to update this. So, guys, I know it's a lot to read, but I definitely encourage you watch the video. And we have until October 6th to
Yes.
comment.
Yes.
And if you have comments on what we wrote, right here, just submit your comments on our comments, right? So
Right.
there's an email link there that goes to us, and we'll take it. Your guys' voice matters too, and we'll take it. We'll review it. We'll see what where it fits in, and we'll see what we can do on that. But guys, give it a read. It's important. I think this is. I think most of us who aren't the Commercial Drone Alliance or the
AUVSI.
everybody else thinks this is trash. So, they're all fawning over it because finally somebody did something, I think is their mention. And they've been advocating for that for 3 years now. But realistically, guys, it is just garbage, pure and simple. And yeah, ours is 22 pages long. Dig into it. Most of us have read the 700-page document that came along with this, plus an additional several, 100 pages on other things. And then I think the biggest thing that is really frustrating is that the TSA is supposed to be establishing rules on this without any ability for public comment.
Right.
And that's supposed to come at a later time at some point. When's that going to happen? Don't know.
Yeah, they said they're going to just drop it into the final rule. And so,
Yeah.
as we've mentioned, that's a violation of the law. There's a law in place that regulates federal agencies on how they are to create and promulgate rules. They're in violation of those rules, which are laws.
Yeah. So definitely throw your hat in the ring here, guys, is what I'm asking. So it's definitely important. There's, I think, Pilot Institute has pushed this out. There's one linked on our page that explains the contents. There's our comments there, and we've got the actual BV Loss NPRM linked here. 700 and some odd pages. And most of it is their justification. 550 pages of that is their justification for all of this, and it's dog poo. No, it's worse than that. It's cat poo. So anyway, that's my rant on that. Anything else for us, Dave?
No, I'm good.
All right. So if you need to find this, this is going to be under, let's see, FAA, BV loss in PRM right here. That will link to this. And you'll kind of go from there. So let us know. Let us know if there's something else we missed, guys. It's
Absolutely.
possible.
Yeah,
Like,
we did
nobody's
not. Yeah,
infallible here.
like good example is we did not dig into the cost impact. I'd love to spend a couple hours looking at that. It's another area to shoot holes in.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
So, all
Over
right.
on YouTube, Ken is saying that there are only 395 comments so far when he checked today.
Wow.
That we need more than that to make a change.
Well said. Thank you for the note on that, Ken.
Yeah, that's
Wow, that's not a
definitely
lot.
more than that.
Yeah.
So, and I guarantee you, there's not. I mean, realistically, it's companies. It's companies commenting on this. It's people with a larger stake in this than recreational guys. But at the same time, recreational is included in here,
Sort of.
and yeah, somewhat, right? But that's the problem. Is
Right.
it's sort of mentioned, and it's sort of really restrictive. So just leverage your voice. You have it for a reason. So and I'll leave it at that. Dan, you got anything for us this evening?
Nope, nothing from me.
All right, Rob. Anything from you, sir?
I watched the House Judiciary committee meeting or subcommittee meeting that was held yesterday on counter UAS and countering drone threats. It was pretty interesting listen. One of my friends was one of the expert witnesses on it. There's a whole lot of discussion about extending the counter authority to state, territorial, tribal, local. So I'm curious to see how that'll land. So big push, a lot of appetite for that right now in DC.
Yeah, as we've discussed, that will necessitate a lot of training, and it would be interesting to see how the FAA tries to delegate and get out of that, because that's that type of training will need to be both on the rules, book learning and tests, as well as practical. I mean, flying aircraft. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's going to be a hard one.
All right, guys. I think with that, we'll wrap this up for this evening. So if anybody gets this new Skydio drone, let us know. I want to see it fly.
Absolutely. Really.
So, and then we'll continue to see what happens with advanced air mobility. Somebody gets to ride in an air taxi at some point. Also, I want video.
Shoot a video, right?
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys joining us this evening. Thanks for the comments. Love it. And go out and fly. Weather's getting maybe somewhat nice here in Arizona. So it wasn't unbearable today, but hopefully it's nice for all of you. Get out there before it gets too cold, right? And do some flying, have some fun. With that, we'll see you again in another couple of weeks. Appreciate you being here. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.